Hello, everybody. This is your host, Rivera, Rivera, Psychic Medium, coming to you from the Ivy League Psychic Academy in Buffalo, New York. I am here with my beautiful co-host, Theresa Matuszak.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody. And this is the Ask a Medium radio show coming to you from ParaX Radio. We're taking questions today. Tree and I will be. So if you guys want to send in anything that you're curious about, psychic, mediumship, paranormal, lost objects, whatever it may be, feel free to text those questions on into me at 716-602-1391. Or where are we sending those, my dear producer, Kara?
What our listeners can actually do is either log on directly to para-x.com and go to the Listening Now tab, and you can just log in, type in your questions there, or you can join us on our Ask a Medium Live Facebook page. There we have an event for Ask a Medium Para X. Just go ahead and type your questions into the comments section, and I will be reading them off to our beautiful host and co-host.
Okay, excellent. We do have a few questions that we'll be getting to in just a minute. But like I said, keep sending them in and we'll keep collecting them. We'll get to as many as we can. If you guys are looking to book a full reading with me, you can find more out about how I do that, what the options are, including phone, Skype, FaceTime, email reads, or you can come and get an in-person read. There's more information at Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, and you can find me at Ivy Rivera on Facebook. And Tree, if they want to reach you, where can they find you?
I'm on Facebook, Theresa Matuszak, Theresa, Matuszak, Matuszak. Or you can reach me through my email, which is treestrunk@outlook.com.
Okay, awesome. So listen, a couple things that we've been talking about this week. We've been talking about stigmas, prejudices, myths against really psychic mediums and the psychic community in itself, including healers. And we want to touch a little bit on some of that, as well as the evolution of what happens with people when they refuse to evolve, or they refuse to give into their abilities, or they keep these stigmas in their blocked energy and they push it out. What happens to people if they do that, and what happens if you actually give in and you start to evolve and move with the flow of things. So we want to uncover, I want to say, some myths today, and we want to make it a little bit more clear on what it is that we actually do, because we consider ourselves light workers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Tree, how do you want to start this off? What should we start with, like psychic ability?
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's wing it.
Okay. So, the idea here, I think everybody has at some point gone to a psychic and felt like they walked out traumatized. And for, lack of a better word, I mean, they really are traumatized, and they forever have a stigma about going back. And there's a huge difference between using your psychic ability sort of as like a street psychic, or fortune telling, versus actually doing light work. Do you agree?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
What would you say? Like, what's the big difference there?
For between
like
street
light
psychic
work
and
just
light work?
Yeah.
It's really about like communication, like just helping people. Like you have this real urge to just help. Like you just want to help people, and people will come whether it is for they do need some sort of help, whether it's medically or whatever that is, even though we cannot, prescribe and diagnose and so forth, but they do need some sort of help, even if it's just relieving stress. Or, my boyfriend broke up with me or whatever, just someone to listen to. Mm-hmm. People seek out advice no matter where you are, no matter who you're talking to.
And, you can go to a psychic and, certainly we use our psychic ability, and we're not knocking psychics, but we're talking about the difference between almost like fortune telling or psychic reading versus light work, right? Mm-hmm. So you could go to a psychic at that time and they could say, yeah, you're right, your boyfriend's he's a real piece of work, and this isn't going to get any better.
He's a loser.
He's a loser. And I see a car accident coming, and I see, this or that or the other coming up, and like life's just going to be horrible. So just give up.
Psychic?
Yeah, you ever been to that girl? You ever meet that chick? So, this happens.
We've heard of her.
most people at some point, they go in there and they go in for a reading and they think they're going to have this great experience. They come out like literally just feeling like, oh my God, is all this horrible stuff, accurate and going to happen? The unfortunate thing is it might be very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the difference between giving a reading like that versus giving light work is that we're always looking for the upswing. We're always looking for that healing element, like you said. Mm-hmm. It's more like shamanic work. We are coming at this from an angle of preventative.
Yes.
So a lot of this stuff can be manipulated, and we want to help to avoid those things. There's no purpose in just telling people the horrible stuff that could happen to them if you're not telling them how they could avoid it or make it better, or that it's for, healing purposes. Yeah.
I was just going to add, too, that people also don't know what to expect a lot of the time. Like, a lot of the time I find with asking people, do they have any questions for me near the end of a reading? And they'll say, no, I wasn't sure what to expect. Or they'll say, well, this is way different than what I thought, and so forth. So it's like, it kind of goes both ways. Like, they'll get traumatized, or they'll be like, wow, okay, that was different, you know? And it's a very,
Why do you think they're so surprised? That still shocks me after doing this for quite a while, for the public. Why do you think they're so surprised when they come in to get a reading with us?
I think what it is that we really tap into, I think, more of what's really bothering them now.
Yes.
And it's also that they will have relatives that will come through. Yep. They will have, a friend or somebody they lost, or even touch base on somebody who is affecting them now that is still living. Mm-hmm. And we kind of, as being empaths and everything else, like, we feel that energy, whether it's, they do carry somebody else's energy with them, especially if they just saw somebody. Mm-hmm. It's like fresh, Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think there's just a lot that contributes towards everything, and it's interesting how it all goes. But yeah, I
think it is a lot. It's the depth, I think, of what we get to, and that's what we focus on here at the Academy and the trainings, is getting deep, getting detail, enriching the reading and pulling out all those healing elements and things that would normally go overlooked by the typical psychic. So yeah, we're using all of our abilities, not just our psychic abilities. And when we start to channel their loved ones, I think they're shocked at the amount of conversation. And I believe that coming from the Academy, the big difference here is that we're not mentioning that there's a spirit there and then just kind of moving on,
right?
Or describing who is here. Like, yes, you have your grandmother and this is what she looked like and da-da-da-da-da, and she loves you. We're actually holding a dialogue, and we learn how to do that here, like holding a dialogue with the deceased, and they love it. So the things that they say, I mean, we can go on and on and on. And the sitters are always shocked to be able to ask questions of their loved ones. They're like, I never thought I could actually ask someone on the other side a question and have them come through and actually answer. I mean, that is intense stuff. That's nuts. So they've never seen anything like this, right? But this is what we do, and this is the standard that we go by. So,
you know who I like, though? I really love those skeptics.
Yep.
Because they come and they're like the best subjects, really, like the best customers, because they just come in and you can say something, because they're just like, oh, this isn't real, this doesn't really happen, and all this other stuff. And then when something comes through that they weren't expecting, they're floored. They lose their breath, or they just are like, mouth hitting the floor, like, how did you know that? Well, see, that's why you pay me. That's why you came.
Tell your friends. Thank you so much. Yes, it is shocking. It is very magical. It's really cool to have what we call it evidential mediumship.
Yes.
So we want to put out, and it's a requirement here that even in level 1, in 15 weeks, the students here are learning at the Ivy League Psychic Academy how to give a 15-minute reading. And so we expect to see some evidential mediumship and psychic ability and empathic ability in with those readings. And by evidential, that's what we mean. We mean something dynamic, and it's not really just for show.
No.
Because the loved ones want to give it. They want this person sitting in the chair so desperately to know that this is really truly them, and they're happy to give it. It's our willingness as the readers to sit back, listen, be patient, and let it come through.
Absolutely. It's definitely it's fulfilling for me, especially like when you get those people that come through, and even whether they expect to or don't expect to hear from a loved one, for that loved one to come through, or even a couple loved ones to come through, and you give them a message and they're just so happy and overjoyed, and even if they forget their troubles for like 5 minutes, at least you were able to make them smile, and that makes me feel good too.
Yeah,
like it really does.
It is. It's a blessing every day. We're very fortunate. Some of the biggest stigmas out there. I mean, what pops into your head? Because this is the thing. We're laughing. Tree and I are laughing on the way in here. We're gonna try not to get heated. We've put up with our whole lives.
Love and light.
Love and light. God bless you all. And I was raised in Catholic school, like third
Same
generation
here.
in the
Yep.
same Catholic school.
Roman
And God, I'm
Catholic.
alive. I'm recovering Catholic. And I love Jesus and all that's good stuff. But, there has been so much. I mean, there has just been, we've taken so many beatings, and this is a tricky topic to get into. Most of us, I think, avoid it because we can get heated.
I'm going to save the heated ones for a minute here.
Toss them over my way. I enjoy devouring them. But, the thing is this, too. It's something that everyone who has the ability deals with. They deal with these stigmas, and it keeps them locked into fear and stagnation. And even people out there who have tremendous ability with their intuition, the minute they even start to talk about it, something as simple as a dream or a vision, they think this thing is going to come true. They have a feeling and they don't know how. They get shot down pretty quick. Mm-hmm. So today our goal is just to bust out some of these stigmas.
These myths.
Let's see. So what did you hear most, or what bothers you the most out there?
Well, we'll skip that one for a second because that one's going to be heated. But the one I want to sit down or actually read off and think about is that people come to us and they're like, well, if you're psychic, what lottery number should I play? When's my birthday? Mm-hmm. It's like we're fortune tellers. There's a big difference between psychic and like fortune telling, mm-hmm. And fortune telling's not my business, so I'm not going to knock anybody who can do that. But we don't get that information. As far as I'm concerned, I get the important information, stuff you need to know now, stuff that's really directly affecting you now in your life for the next couple months to even a year or so. I mean, it really just depends, but it's the important stuff. Mm-hmm. Lottery's not important.
Well, in the universal scheme of things, as much as people may think that lottery is like the biggest thing, in the universal scheme of things, it's not really spirits, it's not really on Spirit's to-do list to give you. And it's not saying that we can't access that information. It's sort of saying that we're not going to access that information for you. And, if there were a desperate situation and you needed more prosperity, by all means, Spirit's going to take care of that. And that will come through intuitively. So it's not so much, that we can't. It's that it's not the code, the ethical code that we've been trained under and that we're seeking. We want what's important for you to know.
Correct.
So we also have, I just want to talk quick about, you said skeptics. A lot of skeptics come in, and there's a bit of a myth for all of you readers out there that you don't want to read a skeptic. You want to avoid them as much as possible. And the truth of the matter is that skeptics are pretty wide open.
They're fun. I like them.
They're not hard to read.
No, they're not.
And they think they're going to be the hardest thing to read. They're like, well, I don't know. I don't really believe. You're not going to be able to get anything on me. But they're actually wide open because they're not expecting you to pull anything out of anywhere. The hardest people to read would be the blockers.
Oh, yeah.
And there is sort of a group of people out there who like to believe that they are so spiritually evolved or that they have so much of an ability themselves that they can't be read. And they like to come in and sort of negate everything that you say or deliberately put up a block. And those are the real blockers, not the skeptics actually at all. So what else have you seen?
One thing I do get, and this is a little more heated for me, I guess I chose this for number 2, is right away, if somebody finds out, if you hear the word psychic or medium, right away they're like, well, that's the work of the devil. And you're going to hell. And I'm like, I'm Catholic. I pray. Like, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm pretty sure Jesus did this.
Like, I'm good with God. Like, we're cool, So, no, they honestly, I think what the hardest part of it is, and I've said this before, is people become fearful of what they don't know. And they become very fearful of what they don't understand. And because they're a regular person who's just go, go, go. Their life is busy, work, children, school, whatever it is. And they don't know how to make heads or tails of mediums or psychics, or how somebody could even possibly know that. They become afraid of it. And right away they think we're doomed.
Right. And in so many of these religions that, push this to the wayside or down into, the pits of hell, that this is the devil's work. It's ironic because they also believe in Holy Spirit. They believe in, higher intuition. And so they want to put themselves in a different category than we are. The difference between us and them is that, we embrace maybe what they believe to a degree, but we also embrace this. We're not going to rule this out. So, what happens is the more that you embrace, and let's just call it Holy Spirit, the more that I embrace Spirit, Holy Spirit, the more I accept the gifts of intuition that I'm being given, the more I'm given. Period. Point blank. It's that simple. And a lot of people want to block that out from themselves and then act like they're not getting it. But that doesn't change the fact that it's coming through and that Spirit's still trying to communicate with them.
Oh, absolutely. And for me especially, I was born, baptized, made my first communion as Roman Catholic. I would go to church every day, twice on Sundays, holidays. I was in a Catholic school. So I was all about, my father was a very passionate religious man, passionate about his religion, about God, his family, and so forth. And the thing is growing up having abilities, it didn't even register in my mind that it was wrong. It never felt wrong. It never felt bad. It never felt like I was being punished for anything, because all I ever felt was I wanted to help people. Right. So the first time I ever heard a story through the family, because some psychics, I think, mediums, they end up seeing or receiving information that scares them, and then they turn more to religion. And there's a lot of mediums that are very religious people. They go to church.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of
they
us
get
are.
Real hardcore even. Yeah, like born again. A lot of them.
It becomes hard for us because we will hear from things we don't want to hear from, and that's another topic. But really for me, I never thought it was bad or anything at all. So the first person who ever said to me, and pardon my French, but, well, you're going to go to hell for this. I'm just like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm not, because the way I look at it is, God made me the way that I am, and full well knowing that he made me this way, he allowed me to be this way to help other people. So, yeah, I think I'm going up. I don't think I'm going down.
Yeah, or I'll meet you there. Because, listen, here's the thing, too. Let's face it.
Company.
Let's face it. Hey, stay behind me in line, sister, because I got better people to hang out with. But you know what? This is the thing too. I'm surprised by how many churches, even in the Buffalo area, bring in a prophet every month. I was like, what? I've moved around a lot over the course of my life, and I've been shocked the last couple of years to hear how many people are bringing in a prophet once a month just to deliver out messages. And bringing in me as a medium is a big no-no, but they bring in a prophet. I'm like, this is getting, this is pretty far out, So I just want to say too, on the one topic where you were saying, well, this is the devil's work. And then you said, well, that's a whole nother topic. Let's get into that.
Okay.
This is where it gets a little darker and a little uglier, but here's the truth. Okay. Do we have trouble having to get rid of negative energies that want to come in and communicate with us? You better believe it.
Absolutely.
Are we more perceptive of it? You better believe it. However, the difference between us and the people who want to knock us for being bad because we see it is this. They don't want to recognize it. They don't want to acknowledge it, meaning they don't protect themselves from it, which makes them at higher risk
more vulnerable than we
for
are.
being a tool that the negative energy can use. And that's how hate gets through those people. That's how judgment gets through those people. That's how that aggression gets into those people. Mm-hmm. So they want to divide themselves from us and say, no, what you do is bad. Yet they're the ones being used for hate, and we're the ones spreading healing and love. Because we very quickly. How easy is it for you to identify the difference between a negative energy and a spirit that's in the light?
For me, because I've been dealing with it for so long, it's immediate.
Immediate.
I tell people all the time, trust your instinct. You have an instinct for a reason. Everybody has one. Everybody does.
Absolutely.
And that in itself is a psychic ability, really. So, basically, trust your instinct. If you're sitting there and all of a sudden you get this, weird feeling over you that doesn't feel all that happy, even makes your tummy feel sour or something, that's not something good. Mm-hmm. Not at all. But if you actually feel comfortable, it's something that may be, a lower level energy, but means no harm.
Right.
And then if you feel just really comfortable and really, really happy and everything, that's a higher up.
And it's the same with people, you know, and a lot of people who have that stigma, that judgment, that, you know, attitude of there are so many others and then there is us, you know, they tend to not be surrounded by the best of company. Our people are awesome. We're happy with each other. We've all got great energy. I mean, we're making a party out of life. You know, this is exciting every day doing this. There's light, there's love, there's happiness. So nobody's going to say that we're on the negative end of things, you know, and convince us of that. But it is identifying, being willing to identify and actually embrace it, and then make the decision quick. Am I going to let this in or am I going to keep it out? And we certainly, as light workers, decide to, you know, keep it out. When I deal with it, the darker side, that's a part of paranormal work. I'm not bringing it into my actual readings, you know, every day. But us knowing how to do this is key, and everybody needs to know how to protect themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is definitely something that's there. I mean, people who, you know, see something move in their house and they're just like, okay, was that on the edge? Did it drop? No, I mean, there's a very good possibility something's there. But it's also the key of knowing what it could be and when to call somebody to help you figure it out. Like, never be ashamed to ring up Ivy or get me on Facebook or even anybody else for that matter. Even your priest will come and bless your home.
Sure.
You know, and everything. So it's like, never be afraid of that, because that's another thing. Because these negative entities, these negative spirits, they look for that negative, what do you want to call it? Reaction, negative emotion.
Yeah, that fear-based, you know, or like, you know, I'm just going to keep, you know, it's you start to get worn down. And you're not acknowledging it. So you don't want to jump to everything being demonic at the same time.
No, absolutely.
You know, you don't want to shun it and say, well, I don't have this because I don't deal in that. You know, I'm not one of those people that deal in that. Everybody do. If you're on planet Earth, you know, there's stuff around that isn't always the most positive.
I think I'm still here on planet Earth.
I think sometimes I show up. I was here for a little while today. So, I want to give one more time before we're going to start getting into some questions, and then we're going to keep going on down Tree's list. Can we give them one more time how they can send in their questions? Yes. I'm just going to tell them real quick. Okay, so listeners, if you want to send Tree and I a question to answer for you, we're doing, you know, we give free readings. One question per person, please. You can text them into me at 716-602-1391, or
they can actually log right into para-x.com, and they're just going to go ahead and hit the Listen Now tab at the top. Just log in and type in your question at the bottom, and I'll read it off to Ivy and Theresa here. Your second option is we ask that you do join us on our Facebook page, which is called Ask a Medium Live. You can go to our events, and there is Ask a Medium Para X, where you can type in your questions there if you want. Ivy, I'm actually going to take this quick opportunity to promote Ivy League Psychic Academy for gift certificates and things like that. And the reason that comes up right now is because we have somebody out front who wants a gift certificate. So I thought that might be a good time to just let our listeners know that those can be purchased at any time for, I believe, readings and merchandise.
Okay, absolutely. You guys can come on in, get a gift certificate for reading or merchandise. And when we're talking about merchandise at the Academy here, we're actually talking about a gift shop that we have here featuring all local artists, authors, jewelry makers, native products. So we support local, local artwork and local people here at the Academy. You can also get sage, feathers, clearing feathers, crystals, stones, things like that. So yeah, if somebody's looking for something, we could tell them that, I'll be out in a little bit to take care of that. Oh. That's the best I can do for tonight, or they can come back when the radio show's over. That'd be awesome. Okay, so the first question that I want to get to here tonight, okay, I want to go to, we have a Mandy. And Mandy wants to know, okay, you ready, Tree? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mandy wants to know, okay, how does she say this? Question for tonight's show. When will I meet my soulmate? Any clue what to keep an eye out for when he crosses my path? Or am I meant to be with anyone in a true relationship sense? ... ever... ... Question mark, exclamation mark. And then she says, I like being independent and alone, but I want my true soulmate. Okay. I'm tired of loving and attaching myself to incorrect people. Thanks, guys. Okay. Well, Mandy, tons of love to you. Yeah, let's see what we're getting on this. That's a great question. And I like the way you said, what can I watch out for? Sometimes it's good to ask your psychic or your medium, what exactly can I be keeping my eye on? All right, Tree, what are you getting with this?
I in my head, I heard he's already there. It's like she already knows this person. I'm trying to think of how this is coming through. Yeah, I just kind of feel like he's already an active player in her life, even though it's not like romantically involved. Okay. I feel like it's somebody that she's known for actually quite some time, really. Really good friends. I'm seeing a bond that's already existed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What I'm feeling with this is like there's some past life connection going on. I feel like this person is coming in. I feel like coming into town almost. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering if he was like at a bit of a distance, like why he was so far away. I feel like circumstances have kept it that way. It does feel like there's a shift coming in. I want to say that looking at the next 3 months out, it feels like you're clearing out a lot of energy. So it feels like for 2 months, you're working at getting rid of what was there energetically in your love life, relationship wise, getting rid of attachments, so to speak, that are sort of blocking this person from coming through. Mm-hmm. What I'm seeing with him is almost like a lighter brown hair. I feel taller. I feel like a real nice build on him. And so it seems like he's quite almost like cut and kind of built, but I feel like without trying, I don't feel like he's going to the gym guy. I feel like he's more like he's probably working with his hands. It looks like engineer's mind, mechanically oriented, knows how to put things together. I see a cat coming in behind him, which is not necessarily going to be, I think it's actually his cat in spirit. I'm seeing like a gray tabby with like a striped tail. And I'm getting the sense from him that he's very loving with animals. I feel like they're very drawn to him, which is also going to represent that he has empathic ability. So I think you guys are connecting on the spiritual level. Mm-hmm. And I want to say this about him. Oh, and lighter eyes. It looks more like green to me. And I want to say where others have not been able to deliver with a mental connection with you and a spiritual connection, this one will. And this sense of almost like anxiety or high energy that you tend to have when you start dating someone new or wanting something or looking, it's like all your anxieties are gone. You're really chill. You're really laid back. You're really like whatever it is, it is. And it just works. It's like butter. I give it until, summer, fall. And then I think you'll be seeing more of this person.
I was getting the dark hair too. I'm sitting there. Oh, I should have said.
Cute.
Yeah, I was getting dark hair, taller than her.
Yeah. Oh God, a lot. Like kind of a lot. Like maybe 6'2".
Somewhere in there. I mean, she's not all that short herself, I don't think. But I'm getting taller than her. The dark hair.
Yeah.
I'm feeling there's a lot of work involved here, though. Like you were saying, the clearing things out and everything. Like there's something else that's in the mix at the moment, and decisions need to be made, and things need to be worked around, and there's a lot of, like you said, clearing out. I like the way you said that. A lot of clearing out, but in the end of it, it's
like a spring cleaning. Like you got to clean house before you can bring in that new fresh air. And, it really does. The truth of the matter is, and we try to stress this, through the Academy, there is a free will domain. Mm-hmm. Everything is not destiny charted. The fact that we're telling you that this person is coming in could very well be manipulated because love technically falls into free will domain. So you could alter the time frame. He could come in closer. He could come in later beyond that time frame, that we're giving you based on how you handle the clearing of that energy and how he's handling things in his life. So it could be manipulated, but probably not by much. It looks and it looks real good.
Promising.
Yeah, you will find that person, or he will be. You'll be finding each other. Is really more how that feels.
Patience, love. Patience.
A little bit of and just not even a ton. So that's fantastic. Okay, so let's see. We're going to move on to another one here. I have. Hi, my name is Eddie, and I lost my dad 11 years ago as of tomorrow, which I believe is actually like today, or that was yesterday. Just wondering if he would like to come through. Okay, and thank you, he says. All right, let's see what's going on. I feel a similarity of names straight away. And I feel like I have two gentlemen over here. So I don't know if this name was handed down like 3 times, possibly even more than that. I do have with one of these gentlemen too. I feel like there was either a cancerous condition or there's something in the throat that felt more like a tumor. Something blocking up on the side of the neck here. Almost like the airway and the ability to speak clearly. We may have also been smoking. So know that I have both of these gentlemen coming through. One who does absolutely feel like dad. One who feels like his dad. The one who feels like his dad, not talking quite so much. Not the friendliest, biggest lover of a guy. Big guy, hard worker, got the job done and don't talk to me. The father, however, really far more loving, depth in his soul, an old soul, a wise man, very sensitive, good listener, didn't always know exactly the right thing to say, or so he said, but I feel like he did. Just coming through with a ton of love, and I feel like a happy birthday or anniversary. Also out to you, giving you a red rose and talking about enjoy more, enjoy more. I feel like even in the simple things, like even if the holidays are hard, enjoy what you get. I feel like him giving a gift to you that's like circular in some way, and I wasn't sure if it was like an ornament or what it is, but it's like somebody's giving you something. It's very simple. It's very small. You can hold it in the palm of your hand, and he is giving that to you as well. And he just wants you to find happiness in the simple things and pay attention for him in your dreams. Tree, what are you getting with this guy?
Took some of those words right out of my mouth.
I could tell. I feel bad.
No, you're good. I was getting a older gentleman, slender, kind of like a lanky kind of build to him. Just a beautiful smile on his face, and definitely the type who very loving, very deep soul. But I also felt like even in those times where he couldn't find the right words to say, somehow found the way to say it or make you feel loved and make you feel special. And immediately it hit my heart, and I wanted to cry at them because they're
He's such a sweetheart.
Their bond was like, it felt like it was a very strong bond, like one of those strong, silent type, like always there, always loving it. This was definitely a hard loss. Like it was almost one of those. I don't want to go, but I have to go. One of those things.
You guys really are more like, brothers.
Yeah.
And, the bond goes way back. Feels like a soulmate connection. Like you guys have done this in many, many lives. He also just mentions, with a ton of light and love, being with you all the time, that the neck, he feels your neck problems and trying to take care of that. Feels like it's kind of radiating over there on the left side as well, and trying to bring in some healing with that. But it feels like, look, go maybe see a chiropractor or something. We can't prescribe or diagnose. And also get yourself some Reiki for the neck.
Deep massage.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Excuse me, girls. We do have an interesting question coming in from Sai on ParaX on the chat feed here, and it is really interesting. He says, Ivy, you mentioned about reading data from past lives. So for me, the question is, in the last Atlantean past life, what was my job and function?
Okay. Well, what I'm actually watching you doing is giving out information. I feel like you're sort of giving instructions. You're managing things. And I feel you dipping way down low into something that almost made me feel like a pond or a well, or like you're cultivating something. It was really, you getting this too?
Yes, it was like a pool.
It's like a pool.
Yeah, I'm seeing like this pool. Like it's sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No, what are you getting with that?
At first I was getting this like almost like a that chiseled face that way back in the Atlantis days, and like a Hercules looking kind of guy, but not that huge, you know what I mean? And just kind of dipping down into the pool. It's like I'm getting like a pool of knowledge. And Socrates comes to mind, like just one of those very developed minds.
That would make
philosophies.
sense. Well, because if he's giving it out to people, because this is what I'm seeing you do, Sai. It looks like you're giving it out to people through like your mouth or through telepathy. Okay, but then every time you stopped, you put your arms down into this pool. And I was like, what the heck is that? So that does make sense. He's dipping down into this like pool of wisdom or knowledge, and then he's going back up to the surface, so to speak. But like the body didn't move. It was just the arms were like motion. Really long. Yeah. Really strange.
I'm liking this one.
I know. It's really cool. Let's just like stay here for a minute. Why come back to Earth?
Right?
Not today.
That was great, Sai. Thank you.
Yeah, that was an awesome question. And now I'm like wondering what we did,
Like a philosopher, really, is what I'm kind of getting in some ways.
Yeah, and I feel like a following. I feel like the other ones, wanted to know, and it didn't matter. It was like even when nobody else was necessarily there taking it in, you just kind of kept going and going and going and putting it out there. And it was just like a ton of positive energy. I'm assuming this is very much how you are in personality. Like, I'm just going to keep talking. I'm just going to keep putting it out there. I don't really care if I have an audience. Da-da-da-da. It's just how I am anyways. It's pretty comical stuff.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. That's great.
That was great.
Seems to work. Okay, so we have another one coming in here from I can't see the phone number right. Okay, from a 242. And the question is, will I find love? Okay. Let's see what we're getting with that. What are you getting on this one, Trey?
Soon. Not like near future. I'm getting down the road. There seems to be a lot that needs to work out for some, like there's issues deep down, love yourself first is what I always say, and care about yourself first, and do what you're gonna do for you, and it'll find its way to you. I mean, I'm not seeing immediately, but my hands are coming in, 8 months or so down the road, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm really feeling that too. I feel like this guy he's writing down a lot of things. Almost like he's got a pen and he's just like very busy, very busy. I'm looking at him into the future, and it's like, I think this is what he's doing right now, but I think it's what he's doing around that time, like around that 8-month mark. It's like I'm writing down instructions. I'm getting things squared away and coming up with what almost feels to me like a goal plan. I think that he's leaving some things behind, and I think that he needs to eliminate some of the stuff from his life, kind of like we were telling Mandy earlier. When you clear out that energy, it really has nothing to do with saying, like, I broke up with somebody. It's getting them out of your head. It's getting them out of your energy. It's getting rid of them entirely so that they no longer reside within you energetically as much as possible. Now, I feel like he's dealing with that. And then it feels like he's coming up with more of a plan of what he wants, almost like he's manifesting what he wants from there. And it isn't just about love. It's about his life. It's about his money. It's about where he wants to live. When he is writing out this contract, I guess we could say, for himself with the universe, it seems like all doors open and he's allowed to move forward. And that's, I feel like, almost like a rubber band, like pulling you guys together. I do think you've been with him in past lives. I want to say 3 off the top of my head that I can see. And you had something in the middle of your forehead, and it's odd. I don't know what, Tree would know better why, and somebody would have an emerald in like the middle of or what does an emerald even represent? But I'm seeing green in the middle of your forehead. And so if that's not literal, then I guess it's a symbol.
Green is usually very nature-based, and it's usually very profitable, and oh my gosh, I'm at loss for words right now. The prosperity and everything, but there's a lot of love involved with emerald too. Definitely look up that. I would look up.
Yeah, look up emerald, and it's like where your third eye would be. So he kind of, as he came into you, he like put it on your forehead. So I'm assuming that's a way that you guys are going to be connected. That's an odd symbol. I don't really get that all the time. So that's pretty good. Let's add that to our symbol base.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I know, right? Emerald.
Emerald in the middle of the forehead, that a lover came and put an emerald in the middle of your forehead. I don't even honestly know what to say about that, but
it almost feels like a crowning of
it does.
So
that's
like
what it felt like.
You know what I mean? Like a kind of like a coming together and
unity.
Like like a unity, like a placement here, like almost like a
marital symbol or something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, almost like, okay, claimed.
Claimed?
Like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, kind of spiritually, like, energetically, like right there in the
popped right there in the middle of the
pretty cool. That to me is like a higher, definitely a higher connection between the two of you than what we see with most people. So, ton of love and, good luck with that, but it looks like it's coming one way or the other, so just ride things on out. Okay, we do have another one coming in here. She says, hi, Ivy. It's Melanie. We met last week at the high school. Hi, Melanie. So I spoke at a high school in Orchard Park at their Ghost Club, and Melanie was there. I really took everything you said. It felt like very connected with you and what you were saying. I've been trying to tune more into getting messages and into my higher mind, but I'm having a hard time getting the messages across. I think she means coming across. She's trying to understand what they mean.
Okay.
That's how I think that's how she means that. I plan on taking a class sometime soon, but in the meantime, how else can I tune into this further? And then she says, also, you had mentioned some books. Are there books that you suggest that I look into? As far as the books are concerned, I'm going to suggest a dream dictionary. It's called The Dreamer's Dictionary, written by Tom Corbet and Lady Stern Robinson. Start looking up symbology at the basic level of communication with spirit. You're going to have to start learning why they're showing you the symbols, the colors, and the shapes that they're showing you. So start with that. Dream symbology is exactly the same as mediumistic symbology, ancient archetypes, Carl Jung, all of this. A lot of native symbology too. So start there. That'll help a lot. And then from there, I'm going to say, and then Tree, I'll toss it over to you. As far as getting connected and listening to them, pay attention for sweating. Pay attention for a feeling of an anxiety attack, pressure in the head, numbness in the face or the hands, ringing or pressure in the ears. Once that starts, you know they're really there trying to give you something, and you would want to pause, and you would want to maybe get out a notepad and a pen and just sort of close your eyes and say, what is it that you guys are trying to tell me? If the left part of your brain keeps intruding and giving you logical information, that does not include your imagination, okay, but logical information, you want to push that out, and you want to stay over to the right side of your brain where it's almost like you're daydreaming and you're just open, and you may hear nothing. It's better to hear nothing than to hear a bunch of left brain thinking. So it's okay if you're hearing nothing, you're on the road to getting it, and then you might see some symbols or words or feelings pop up, and in that is your message. From there, you would probably need additional training, but start with that, and then analyze what you think it is that they're trying to tell you.
I got a lot of crystals popping up for this girl.
She's a healer.
Yeah, I was definitely first clear quartz. Get that one. That one's a good magnifier, a cleanser, a recharger. It'll help with the other stones that I'm about to say. To cleanse those, recharge those. And just a note for everybody who does have stones and wants to charge and cleanse them. I use the full moon method, which Christmas coming up, December 25th, there will be a full moon. So just take your stones, put them on a table, windowsill, get them in the window, and they will charge and cleanse. They only really need to sit there for maybe 2 to 4 hours. You can leave them overnight if you really want to. So, but for Melanie here, I would say the clear quartz, amethyst. Amethyst is a big one. That one really helps with stress, and it really helps with any kind of like pressure. It helps me greatly with headaches. You just meditate. You have it, not even meditate, just sit there with it on your forehead for about 10-15 minutes and things just kind of relax.
Beautiful.
But I'm definitely feeling with her, there's a lot of pressure at the third eye. It wants to pop out. And I think that if you hold on to the amethyst, hold on to the quartz, maybe one in each hand, and just try to focus, it'll help kind of bring that right out.
Awesome. All right. Well, Melanie, we hope to see you in classes here. We do have, my daughter Raynon, who is 16. She's been a certified psychic medium for a few years now. She teaches a class called 16 and Psychic that we're going to be bringing back around. We also have Intuitive Kids, which is 6 to 16 years old, that you guys can stop in for. And, ton of other stuff. If you can't get in for, level 1, 2, and you can't be here, you guys can Skype in. You can FaceTime in to level 1 classes. So check it out at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. We're going to get onto a little bit more of our topic, and then we still have a couple, callers that we want to get to here. So what are we on next? What's your fifth down stigma?
My fourth one. Well, this one's I kind of see it both ways in this one, but it says psychics can curse you and remove curses.
Okay.
We, in my opinion, can sense if there's something going on with you. Mm-hmm. But we don't put them there. And a lot of us don't necessarily know how to get rid of them. That, I think, comes along with the whole cleansing and protecting and the paranormal as well.
Right.
But as far as a curse itself, no.
Right.
Not happening.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's like, I'm like, you're going to come dump this on me? Like, can you get rid of my 5th generational curse throughout my family? I'm like, this is awful. I just hope to God this isn't true. I know these things will just make your head spin. But they think anything under the sun we're acquainted with, and anything under the sun.
Yeah.
We could do the same thing like when you said with mediumship. People come and they're like, so-and-so is possessed, so there's something going on in the house. It's like, I am attuned to doing that. I do paranormal work. I've always done. But this is the thing. It's because I'm able to hear the spirits. Mm-hmm. So I'm in a unique position to be able to go into a toxic situation and hear what they're up to, what they plan to do, what they're capable of doing, what they did. And, and then I have the power of, for whatever reasons I have it, I have the power of persuasion and the power to get rid of things. That does not mean that every single one of us is to do that. And do you love how you get the calls? Yeah. The students are always like, scared. They're like, I got a call. Somebody wanted me to come bless the house. They never want you to come bless the house. That is not, folks. If somebody wants you to come bless their house, that's not what they mean, okay? It's they want clearing. They want, major help.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of this touches base, too, because, like, people think, like, if there is something negative going on, and we do have the ability to communicate on everything on all levels. So if we can even ask this negative thing, what do you want? Automatically they think, oh, it must be devil's work because this thing isn't nice. Mm-hmm. And then it goes on the other side, too, when we were talking about psychics and mediums, where psychics aren't necessarily mediums, mediums are always psychic, that whole thing.
Exactly.
And it's that level of mediumship where we, like I said, we have the ability to communicate, and that stuff is going to come through, but not all of us can really communicate with those negative things, or not even really recognize it. I get a lot of questions like, what's in my house? I'm like, furniture. Like, I don't know. Is this a guessing game? Again, I'm not a fortune teller.
It looks like what you're making me feel like it looks.
I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are a lot of ideas, but again, how will you know unless you ask,
Right,
so always feel free to ask, because we really do have a wild array of skills. I mean, from one person to the next here at the Academy, it's incredible what we could all do. So we want to pool our power. But yes, every medium is not necessarily the same. This is looking like my favorite one right here. What do we?
Go ahead. Which one?
This. Yes, I love this. Number 5.
Go right ahead. We kind of touched on it, but go for it.
Oh, did we? Okay.
A little bit.
Well, psychic abilities are for people that are just really close to God. And so, this is the thing that has inspired me to do what I do, is that stigma. And I grew up around, beautiful people and, spiritual communities and all of this, where it was put up on a pedestal. And I even thought I was supposed to maybe put it up on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. And there was a ton of talk, and this is the biggest myth that bothers me. There was so much talk all those years about how only certain people are capable of doing this work. Mm-hmm. This is a special gift. Those people are closer to God, and that those same people who have those gifts are in a position to tell other people, you're in no shape to be doing this. You are sick, or you have chaos going on in your life, or you have something that you need to deal with. You will taint people if you start working with people. And I thought, over the years, I was like, this is, first of all, it's not a gift. Mm-hmm. It's an ability that people are not tapping into these days. We used to. It's part of our roots, and everybody has it. And the idea that only those close to God lead some sort of a perfect life where they never have chaos or illness, or, and that the rest of us would taint someone who came to us for help. That's nutty. And what it really did was it kept us in a completely stagnant situation for so long that we all literally walk around believing, well, I'm not up on a pedestal like you. Mm-hmm. I sometimes get something, but I will never be like you. And we put this medium up on the, up on her throne. And we don't believe that we can do it because they are in like a hierarchy. Hogwash. Just absolutely ridiculous. Do you honestly believe that there's anything that you could go through that would make you so tainted in life that you shouldn't be helping people anymore?
No, I mean, there are those days where I'm just like, ugh, like you don't feel like really getting out of bed, really,
Sure.
That kind of thing. But I have never once ever felt that, it's wrong or that I'm going to hurt somebody or whatever. I mean, I, for one, know that, hey, if I can't figure it out, I'm going to get a hold of somebody who maybe can, or get the right help for the person. But it's just interesting to me because it's like, I've just been told so many times, like, you should go to church. I have. Thanks for suggesting. I was just there. And the funny thing is, too, I have to say, too, is that it was a couple weeks ago, actually, you were doing a private session, and this lady's husband was out keeping me and my husband company. And he told us the greatest little story about how he was like 6 and his brother was 4, something along those lines. And they were like, well, where's grandma? And he's like, oh, she's in the room. Don't bother grandma and whatever. Then they went to church. And right in the middle of church, the priest had asked for her to come up and help people in the audience that may need help. And she's just telling these people things and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, and that brings me to like a joke when my father used to say, if we're going to church, I'm going in before you because it might burst into flames. So when I step forward in the church, I go, hey, Dad, not today.
So
I mean,
awesome.
the jokes and everything are there, but I mean, the truth is that we are people. We're normal. We believe, we have our beliefs in, you know, in God and Jesus and, you know, the Holy Spirit and everything else. And it's a big part of our lives, too.
I look at everybody as being exactly the same. Only there are people who are acknowledging it, embracing the truth, and there are those that are denying it. And so they are more stagnant. And that's all there really is. I will say this you know, sort of stigma that if we play into this, it will become more so. That one's true. The more you feed it, the more you will get. And the only harm that I ever really see coming to people is that they don't learn how to manage it. They're like, I want more, I want more, I want more. They're going on all these ghost hunts and they're like, I want connection, I want connection, I want connection. And then they're complaining when their house is haunted, or they have an attachment, or they don't know how to manage their energies. They have anxiety disorder then, or, you know, and then they're blaming it on, you know, well, this was bad or evil. No, it's energy. If you open up to more energy and you just ate it, if you went in and you ate 10 Big Macs, you know you're going to need to exercise and go to the bathroom, and it's got to go back out somehow. This is the same thing. You're going to need something, you know, and you could gain weight. There could be side effects from this. Okay, well, then you're going to go play with energy, learn how to manage the energy, but don't label the rest of us as bad or toxic or that something horrible happened to you. That's not exactly at all what it is. What do you have going on?
Well, what I have going on right now is we got 9 minutes left, girls.
Okay.
And I do have 2 questions. One comes from Para X in the chat feed. The other one comes from the comment section on our Ask a Medium Live event page. So which one do you guys want to take first?
Oh, let's hear the comment.
Yeah, sure.
All right. We'll do the Facebook comment. This comes from Mindy, and she says, hi, Ivy. My question is, yesterday I powered on an old cell phone today that I used while I was with my ex from 2 years ago. It seems like all the horrible chaos I used to experience with him came flooding back as soon as I turned it on. Can objects hold residual energy?
Oh, good question. The minute I felt that, Mindy, there was like a stabbing pain through the back of my neck that went up into my head. And I want to say that that's one of the areas I'm always teaching the students. If you get a burning or a stabbing pain near the back of your neck or on the along your shoulders at the back there, into the back of your head, that is some toxic energy coming from somebody else. That is just bad juju built up from another person who means you harm. So yeah, absolutely. Objects, if you guys have, you know, looked at the, you know, The Conjuring or any of the, you know, Ed and Lorraine stories, you know, I mean, it's just old news really, but objects hold energy. That's a great place to look to see a little bit more on that. I put it this way though, to my students, if you remember being at school and being very unwilling as a kid to sit in a certain desk or use a certain pencil, or you didn't want to touch a certain book, or if you go into antique stores, or certain objects hold different energy and you almost think you have OCD, the way you move objects around. Absolutely they do. And anything, and I know Linda Elson, feng shui expert here, we're going to have her on in February. She's amazing. She sells her feng shui products here at the Academy. She's going to talk more on that, I'm sure. But no doubt about it, when she came in here and she feng shuied the Academy, it was, of course, empty, but a lot of the things that were up on the wall and the order of things had to be placed a certain way. And I went home after. I got rid of everything that I didn't like, anything, you know, that an old boyfriend had bought me, or toxic things in my car that had been lingering in the trunk. I was very mindful after Linda had come in and helped, and of the power, especially with clothing. You know, and phones are no joke, because you've got your pictures, your life, your love, your conversations, phone numbers, your Facebook connections. You've got so much in that phone that you carry it on you. Purses, clothing, shoes, powerful.
I think this is the exact reason why I cannot look at a picture of Annabelle, that doll.
That doll from The Conjuring?
I get immediate headaches and just this really, gross feeling. And I'm like, you know, I have to get rid of it, get away from the picture. But no, absolutely. I mean, objects do absorb, they do hold things, like you're saying with clothing. Like, it just absorb it like a sponge, you know, and everything. It's the same thing with, dare I bring it up, crystals and stones. That's why I firmly believe in trying to cleanse and every single piece of jewelry I make before I bring it in here. Because not only do I want my energy all over it for people, but I want it to work to its best ability for the person who needs it. And if it's got other energy or junk all over it, how would the person really be able to select it?
And I know you do it because people come in here and they gravitate to your stand more than anything. It's almost bizarre.
Mind-blowing.
It is, but I said it's because of the way she does it. Because you say I will not work on my jewelry or wrap unless I am in a good state and all of this happy.
Okay, guys, we have 5 more minutes. The answer was great, by the way. Is there now just real quick? Does somebody just throw the object out? Like, is that how they get rid of it? Like.
I don't recommend burning a lot of stuff. I mean, depending on what it is, you could.
Or just throw it out.
If it's an actual spiritual... well, as far as... What was it? A phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I would
Sage.
just...
If you really need to keep the stone hollow, what's on my mind? If you really need to keep the object, sage is a good cleanser, purifier. Throw in some salt. Salt isn't really going to hurt much, or white rice, you know what I mean, and whatever. But, I mean, if you really need to keep it. My first thought when you read that was like, oh, why did you look? Like, why did you even turn it on?
That's like you open Pandora's box. Yeah. But there's this cool thing on Facebook I'll rotate through every now and again, and it's a picture of sage burning with a feather. Mm-hmm. And I'll just be like, I'll send it out there, and it'll get 20 shares, because what everybody's really doing is they're cleansing their computer through the image. You have to remember that even if you don't have any other tools, it's your intention. So what I'll do with my phone is I'll be like, any blocks, any negative energy in this phone, clear it, clear it, clear it. Only the highest and best good. Open up the pathways for prosperity. Clear it, clear it, clear it. And I'll picture the different screens on my phone until I feel like from the beginning to the end, I've just kind of cleared out the energy.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Are you guys ready for the next question?
Absolutely.
Okay. Real quick, just from Sai, when you answered his last question about the Atlantean life, he said yes, and thank you both greatly for that answer.
Very welcome.
You're welcome.
So that comes from Sai. Dragon Eye actually has a question, and he wants to know, or she, I'm sorry, do you, either of you, understand the reason why everyone is separating themselves from me, and why am I so alone recently?
I feel like a little bit of putting out negative energy. I feel like putting out more negative energy than you're really aware of. And I want to put it this way. Sometimes when your energy shouts, I need to be carried, people are like, well, I don't have the energy. And it's kind of like, I think in a joking manner of that Seinfeld episode where the girl was stuck in the bathroom stall and she was like, and then Elaine was in the stall next to her. And she was like, can you pass some toilet paper? And the girl was like, I don't have a square to spare. And she just wouldn't, left the chick sitting there, couldn't give her anything. She knew she had enough. She knew she had enough to give. But that's how humans are. And in a time of turmoil, I always say this to my students too. Before someone passes away or when someone's going through chaos or change, they give off an energetic vibration. And when other people read it, they read it as two things. This person, I should reach out to them because they need something right now. Or they're going through a lot. I don't want to deal with it. And I'm going to leave them to themselves. Often that's when someone passes away. We never get to say goodbye. But they popped into our head repeatedly. It's the same thing, obviously, with stress. And I think that you're giving it off and people are feeling as though they don't have the solution or they don't want to take the time. It's a pretty accurate, even though it's not completely out on the table in a literal sense, it's a real accurate way to assess who should be around in your group and who shouldn't. But on that same note, take responsibility for your energy and own it. Because, people can only take so much. And so if you are putting out that you're going through a lot of change or chaos, you may need to pull that way back and really put on your A game when you're around people. And find another way to sort of, make them comfortable and stay around longer. What are you getting with that?
No, absolutely. I agree. I mean, the very first thought that popped in my head was there's a shift. Like, it felt like there's an energy shift going on, like a shift within himself, really, whether he or she, whether they realize it or not. But we do emit that energy, and other people tend to, steer clear or just come and huddle around you. So I wouldn't really say there's a lot of negative. I do feel there's some.
No, I don't feel like
negative,
it's
but
even that
not, like,
bad.
even really, yeah, it's like very minor, very little comparing to what it is. But just try to stay positive, and fight the good fight.
And they'll be back. It's not like
Yeah,
everybody's like
they're not
abandon you in
disappearing
life.
forever,
It's not
yeah.
like, to them, it's just a minor thing and they're just like avoiding a little bit. I also want to say, slow yourself down, be more mindful, allow more for your audience, let them take over. Whenever I feel like poo, I just let the people that I'm spending time with kind of run the show, and I just go along for the ride and I pull way back. Okay, we are going to have to wrap up the show. So I thank you guys for joining us for Ask a Medium. Theresa, Tree, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Kara, my dear producer, thank you. Jay, our tech guy, we appreciate you so much. You guys come on down to the Ivy League Psychic Academy and look us up on the website for products and classes, and find me at Ivy.Rivera.psychicmedium.com. And Tree, they can find you where?
Tree's Trunk at Outlook.com or on Facebook. Also, my jewelry is here at the shop, and 4511 Main Street. And I also have it at Red House Depew, 4820 Broadway. But thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.